Well, there we go. There we go. Wow. Two things happened there. Number one, my internet went out for a moment, and it was just long enough. It came back as YouTube dropped the stream, so that was the first problem. And the second thing is YouTube wouldn't start it. The stream didn't show up. Yeah, we're back. I had to start a new one, so hopefully people can find us. Yeah, people. Yeah, if you ain't first, you're last. Yeah, no, that's very annoying. I don't know what happened there, why that happened. So anyway, yeah, very annoying. Very annoying, but that's YouTube sometimes. But it was my internet provider first. It went out, just complete dropped. I've told you we've had trouble with the internet because of the weather. They were doing work. They were across the street yesterday, but I'm surprised to see it go out like that for a second. So, yeah, sorry about the disruption there, folks. Took me a few minutes to get it back in place as we grow. We had 330 people here. Now we have 26. Istafark, yes, I reboot all my stuff. It has nothing to do with that. It's the internet. It's the internet. It's not me. And it was YouTube on top of that. Yep, we're back. 26 people here. And Vloy, welcome back. Thank you for that. Okay. Yeah, I restarted and it didn't connect. And then it started its own thing. And so, very annoying. Anyway, so if you stream it, they will come. Well, I hope so. We're up to 33 now, but people have this bad habit of not finding things when this happens. So we had a lot of trouble with the internet here a few months back. I think a lot of people remember that. Yeah, no load shedding. I still have power. Yeah, load shedding is, that didn't happen. Now, my computer gets rebooted at least once a week, at least. Reminds me of Bop TV, technical difficulties. Vak and Bicky. Vak and Bicky. De boss come now. Well, I'm here. Thank you. I see Ronaldo's definitely on now. Oh, is he now? That's why. Ronaldo contacted YouTube and had them knock out my internet. That's what happened. So now Ronaldo is streaming at this hour, huh? I don't see Ronaldo on now. Oh, he is. Wow. Oh, he's on NewsPod. He's on NewsPod right now. Okay. Oh, everybody went over there. Look at all these people who were watching this and disappear went over there. Interesting. He's not on now. He was on. I don't see Ronaldo on there. He was on 5 minutes ago.
Percent of land ownership needs to be black. So they are literally bringing things down to racial classification, which is what
I have he's on NewsPod a few minutes ago. Okay, cool. 59.71. Some people are finding their way back. Viewers went to NewsPod. Yeah, I see that. Well, Ronaldo's no longer speaking, Charlene. He's done. So, all right. Fiber routers seem to get weird if you're on too long. Builds up. Yeah, you're right about that, Istafark. That's correct. And I have a fiber connection here. I'm not. This isn't Wi-Fi. I've got a LAN cable that runs from here through the sitting room out to the other room and plugged right into my modem. Yep. Anyway, I don't know where we're at there. DA boys will sell you out. All right. Anyway, so Jaretha is still here. Good to see you there. And Istafark. Yeah, we were talking about Ohio. I haven't forgotten. Just trying to see what's going on in the chat here. So we're back. Sorry about that disruption, folks. That unfortunately, it's the internet. We're dependent on that. So, what happened? My internet fell off for just long enough for YouTube. Sometimes you get disruption in the internet. YouTube will hang, it'll buffer, and then it'll catch. Well, literally, the internet, when I didn't know it was offline, I just happened to see the chat didn't come up. It wouldn't connect the chat. I've been talking for several seconds when it said chat is disconnected. So I looked down and my internet was out. And then I went to the studio, and the studio, I was still there. It hadn't hung up yet. And I glanced and I refreshed the page over on the other side, and the internet was back. And right then, they disconnected. If it had been 2 seconds sooner, I probably would have kept my connection. Sorry about that. Starlink is not the panacea that you all think it is. It's nowhere near the data bandwidth that I have here. I can download a tremendous amount of bandwidth, a gigabyte per second here. Yeah, so Starlink can't do that. And upload, I can well, apparently Starlink, depending where you're at, can upload pretty fast. That would be a great YouTube series for you, going over the highlights and pros and cons of each state for us. Well, that's going to be my opinion. People have different opinions of states. People from Ohio have a different opinion than me. Yeah, it's a good backup, but I'm not paying $500 or $800 for the kit to pay a monthly subscription to have a satellite dish in my yard. So, it doesn't happen often enough. But thank you for the suggestion. We're discussing my potential house in Ohio, says Charles. The Hocking Hills. Okay, well, the Hocking Hills is the area I know. Yep. Darty says remain loyal to the Colonel. Thank you for that. Well, the other 200 aren't. They disappeared. They left. 105 of you here now. Yeah, Arctic. He's trying to improve his Afrikaans for refugee status. My roof has solar panels. I'm not putting it in my roof. The dish will go in my yard. Not going to go in my roof. Nope, not putting any crap on my roof. Not with the winds around here. Keep it on the ground next to terrestrial. Anyway, I was talking about jobs. Every state has jobs bureau, and they help with job assistance. But you really don't need a jobs bureau these days. I mean, just go on to all these different websites, that offer, monster.com is one of them. You find jobs. Yeah, let me see. What are some of these ones? Wait a second here. Jobs websites. Okay. Indeed, that's the big one. ZipRecruiter, Monster, those are the three biggest ones. And USA Jobs, that's got US jobs. So again, so that's the four biggest one. Look for work. So I'll put those up. But let's go back to Ohio here, and get rid of that. Get rid of some of the things we don't see anymore here. Okay, jobs. So if you lost your job, apply for unemployment benefits. Well, I don't think you get unemployment when you arrive as a refugee. I don't know because you're getting a stipend. But some states are very generous. So there we go. So here is the Ohio Employment Bureau. If you're seeking a job, you need food or cash assistance, but this isn't going to be applicable for food or cash for refugees because you have different programs for that. Anyway, find your local county agency, unemployment resources for employers, jobless claims. It tells you how many people are actually jobless in Ohio, so let's take a look at that. All right, helping older Ohioans. Look at that for the elderly. Okay. So let's go back here to looking for a job. I'm seeking a job. Let's see what it tells us to do. Okay, Ohio means jobs. Okay. And that's where you go. You launch it. Ohio means jobs. Let's go there and see what that does for us. Okay, find your next opportunity. Search by skill. Let's try air traffic controller. Okay, let's see. They have 151,000 jobs available in Ohio right now. The average starting, there are 99,000 with a starting salary of $50,000. Okay, let's see if they have any air traffic controller jobs available in Ohio. Then I'll try marine biologist. Well, that's taking a long time. Here it goes. There you go. Air traffic control instructor in Cleveland. Air traffic control instructor. Air traffic control specialist. FAA. Those are SAIC. That's a corporation that provides all kinds of service. Air traffic management center operator. Yeah. Ohio National Guard. A police officer. Okay. So there's several there. Let's go here and try another one. Okay. I'm going to try marine bio. What the heck is that? Oh, okay. It took me from there. No. Hang on a second. Where'd it go? Okay, let's go launch it. I guess you can't go backwards. So we'll try marine biologist. Okay, marine biologist in Ohio. Let's see if there's any jobs. Ohio is an inland state, but we do have Lake Erie, and we have waterways throughout the state. So let's see what it says. All right, 3 jobs. Okay, I don't know what these are. So there's a malacologist, whatever the hell that is. That's in Stowe, Ohio, and consultant lead wetland delineator in Cleveland, and natural resources field technician in Stowe. Let's check that out. Okay, Stowe, does it give us the, it says, assist with biological assessments in freshwater marine systems, collect water and sediment samples, identify aquatic species using taxonomy, work environment, overnight travel on the job, outdoors, long periods of driving, overnight, some weekends. I'm looking for pay. It doesn't say pay. That's strange. Maybe it's over here. No, it doesn't say. Anyway, so there, no. Anyway, you can create a profile here and search for it. Every state has something like this. So that's Ohio. Yeah, so jobless claims for Ohio. See full release. Just tell you. Okay, so here you go. These are how many people become unemployed in Ohio. You just saw there were 191,000 jobs that the state had, not the private sector. That's the state listing where people have gone to the state and said, we got jobs. And 99,000 of those paid more than $50,000 per year. That's pretty good. Now, despite that, there are people claiming unemployment because people lose their jobs. Businesses go out, they downsize, something happens. So here are jobless claims for this year. Beginning of the month from February 2nd to the 8th, there were 6,449. But look at this. It's declined. In November, it hit a high of 13,900. Almost 14,000 people were unemployed that week. And now it's down to 6,400. And you can see that. Continued claims. Those are people, 8-week average, there's 67,000 people claiming, 76,000 people are claiming unemployment. Labor force participation rate is 62.6% in Ohio, which is slightly higher than the nation. Labor force participation is those who are old enough and capable of working, who is working. Well, a lot of times you have people that aren't working because their spouse is raising children. So that's why that number is not higher. But labor force participation, that's not bad. Okay. Can you become a police officer as a refugee? Of course you can. since I would believe you need to know the state's laws. Well, of course, you have to go to a police academy and attend it and graduate, unless you get elected as a sheriff. We are going to put the South Africans in the fields with the... What? An American citizen living in South Africa and going through the visa process. The only work I'm allowed to perform right now is remote. Yeah, that's because South Africa is very different. If you're an American, you can work here, so I don't understand that. Can you become a police? Okay, I got that. Okay. All leads are appreciated. So starting. If all hell breaks loose in South Africa, will you say send troops and help us? Neiman, we can't tell you that. No one knows that's going to happen. I wouldn't hold my breath, but I wouldn't also, given the new Trump, the post-assassination attempt Trump, anything's possible. So I wouldn't rule it out. No, Trump will deploy his troops during his term, but that may just be an opinion. That's what Arctic says. Excitement amongst all are fading. Any update regarding this boost morale? No, there's no update, Billy, other than I'm sharing things with you. People are giving themselves false hope, getting excited about something. Did anyone honestly think that when Trump announced this on the Friday that by Monday you were going to be in America? A lot of people seem to think that. I don't know why people come up with that concept. Even if you came here as a tourist, it takes a few days to arrange a flight, and you're not closing your home, not closing your bank accounts. I mean, these things take time. You're not being interviewed, just come here as a tourist, but you still can't do that in a day or so, unless you're rich. Then you get on a plane. Come to New Jersey, folks. Plenty of jobs in retail stores. You can have New Jersey. Become a house dad. My wife can go to work as a nurse. There you go. Police Academy. South Africans have never seen this concept. Well, sent your PayPal to show my support. Thank you, Darty. Let me go check it out. Let me see. That's very kind of you. Okay. PayPal. PayPal. I haven't had anybody give me PayPal in a while. Let me see. They're trying to tax us on PayPal now, too, on transactions there. Greedy bastards. Continue to web. Okay, it's trying to tell me to download the app. Whoa! Wow. Thank you for that. That's very nice. Thank you, Colonel, for all that you do. Darty, thank you so much. Can I mention, I will. $50. Thank you so much for that. That's so cool. Because it's a super chat. Thank you for that. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Going to do research in New Jersey. Have fun. But the situation probably speed up the refugee process. I see NATO Boletis on. Yeah, it's still up. Exactly. Yep. True. Even Florida got snow this year, but only for one afternoon. Yep. Chris, when you can go check out U.S. documentary called The Grab. It's about land grabs all over the world. Okay, I haven't seen that. A lot of waste management positions in New Jersey, only for Italians. U.S. instructor sector always needs instructors. Yep. Darty is originally from New Jersey. Really, Darty? Okay, thank you. It's the best state in the union. Oh, my gosh. Where are all these people from New Jersey coming here from? It did give us Kevin Smith and Mallrats and Clerks, so I'll give you that. Actually, New Jersey is beautiful if you get to the south of New Jersey. Lots of wild areas, beautiful places. Yeah. Okay. So Ohio. What else we got here to talk about? Ohio. Current governor is Mike DeWine. He's a rhino treason best bastard. Senators are Benny Moreno and John Husted, both Republicans. The House delegation, 10 Republicans, 5 Democrats. It's overwhelming Republican state. Historically, that's been the case. All those presidents I mentioned were Republicans. None of them were Democrats. The 7 that it gave. It's the 7th largest state population-wise, 10th largest in population density. English is spoken by almost everyone. Yep. So let's see. So Europeans are always blamed for war with the Indians, and the convenient leftists who tell history forget to mention that the Iroquois conquest during the Beaver Wars in the mid-1600s largely depopulated this area, including Ohio. So there weren't many people there. So the 5 nations, the Iroquois nations, spread here. The original homeland was in upstate New York. You can see it in the pink there. But you can see their expansion. By 1638, they went west. 1649, they got into Lower Canada. 1651, then they got into western Ohio and western Pennsylvania and Ohio. And by 1660, 1670, they'd occupied all the way out to what is Illinois today. That's the Iroquois, the 5 nations. Their wars, their Beaver Wars, wiped out most of the population that was in this area. And it was largely depopulated as a consequence of Native Americans fighting, not because of white people stealing our land. They wiped each other out. So people conveniently forget that. During the 18th century, the French set up a system of trading posts to control the fur trade. As a result of the Treaty of Paris, France ceded the control of Ohio and the remainder of the Old Northwest to Great Britain in 1763, and they ceded it to us in 1783. Yep. Britain thinly exercised sovereignty over the Ohio country. In a lackadaisical garrison of the French forts just beyond the Ohio country was the great Miami capital of Kikonga, which became the center of British trade. Let's see. Ohio tribes participated in the French and Indian War until an armed expedition in Ohio led by Brigadier General Henry Bouquet brought about a truce. Then we had Lord Dunmore's War by the Yellow Creek Massacre. Yep. Anyway, so by the start of the Revolutionary War, the movement of natives and Americans between Ohio and the 13 colonies had resulted in tension. Yep. And so this became part of the Northwest Territory. Okay. Let's see. Colonel David Broadhead's invasion of 1780 destruction of the Lenape Indian capital, Coshocton, a detachment of 100 George Rogers Clark's troops that were ambushed by the Ohio River by Indians led by Joseph Brant. In the same year, a British and Native American attack on U.S. Fort Lawrence, and the 1782 detainment and murder of 96 Moravian Lenape are Indians, pacifists by the Pennsylvania militiamen in the Gnadhutten massacre. Yeah, that was a bad situation there. Yep. So this is the Ohio country, which is outside of Ohio's borders. You can see it covers most of Ohio, and it takes in Pennsylvania, a little piece of Indiana. That's in part of West Virginia. That is the Ohio country. And there's proclamation lines there. So very consequential history of Ohio and the settlement and Native Americans, the French, the Brits going way back there. So under the Northwest Ordinance, areas could be defined admitted as states once their population reached 60,000. Although Ohio's population was only 45,000 in December of 1801, Congress determined that it was growing rapidly enough and accelerated the process via the Enabling Act of 1802. In regard to the Lenape natives, Congress decided that 10,000 acres on the Muskingum River in the present state of Ohio would be set aside and the property thereof vested in the Moravian Brethren, a society that helped civilize the Indians, promote Christianity. Yeah. Anyway, so, yep. Statehood, early years, Ohio grew rapidly. Major industrial power. So here's the geographic regions of Ohio. You can see this. You got the plains, the central lowlands, the glaciated plateaus, the Allegheny plateaus. That's the Appalachian, that pink on there. Yep. So that's the geographic breakdown. And you've got Lake Erie at the top there. Yep. What else we got here? So here's a picture of the Ohio River, marking the boundary between Kentucky and Ohio. Ohio one side, Kentucky on the other. What else? Major towns. Let's see. That's not what I'm looking for there. Cities. Here's the urban centers. That's a little hard to see, but you can see the density of where the major cities are there. Cincinnati, Dayton, in the bottom left-hand side. In the center is Columbus. In the north is Cleveland and its environs in the northeast. So that's the population centers of Ohio. Okay. The largest cities in the state are Columbus and Franklin County with 905,000 population. That's in 2020. Cleveland with 372,000, which is shocking how much smaller Cleveland is than Columbus. Columbus is really, it's a financial, insurance, and science center, big time. Columbus is really massive. It takes in the whole county. Then Cincinnati with 309,000, Toledo with 270,000, Akron 190, Dayton 137,000. It goes smaller from there. Yep. All right. From just over 45,000 residents in 1800, Ohio's population grew faster than 10% per decade until the 1970 census. Wow. That's a lot of rapid growth. Yep. All right. So up till 2015, they kept the population defined as white. Then they started going white non-Hispanic since then. So before in 2013, 79% of the population was white. And today, white is listed as non-Hispanic. It's 71%. And then Hispanic are thrown in here, and that's 7%. So it's 79% still. Hasn't really changed. Black population was 18% in 2013. It's down to 15.9%. It's declining as percentage of population. American Indians. Ohio has a total of 204 people listed as American Indian. Yep, there you go. Asians, only 3,923 Asians in the entire state of 11 million people. That is a drop in the bucket. All right. Yep. What else? Yeah, in 1990, the white population was listed as 87.8% and black at 10.6%. But that was when they didn't break it out by Hispanic. And so now it says 77%. It hasn't declined. There were 469,000 foreign-born residents in Ohio, 4% of the population, which is lower than much of the country. 229,000 were naturalized citizens, so they're Americans. 240,000 were not. The largest group comes from Mexico, 54,000, India, 50,000, China, 34,000, Germany, 19,000, the Philippines, 16, UK, 15, Canada, 14,000, Russia, 11,000, South Korea, 11,000, Ukraine, 10,000. Although predominantly white, Ohio has a large black populations in all major metropolitan areas throughout the state. Significant Hispanic population made up of Mexicans in Toledo and Columbus, and Puerto Ricans in Cleveland and Columbus. Ancestry, 26.5% German, 14% Irish, 9% English, 6% Italian, 3% Polish, 2% French, 2% Scottish, 1.7% Hungary, 1.6% Dutch, 1.5% Mexican, Slovak. Anyway, it goes on and on. Yep. Religion, 46% are Protestants, 18% are Catholics, 30% are unaffiliated Christians, 2% are Jews, and 1% Hindus. Okay, economy, of course, I've talked about. Procter & Gamble, one of the largest consumer goods companies in the planet, is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, healthcare is a major sector for Ohio as well. Lots going on. Cuisine, music. That's right, I talked about the museum there. The Gnadenhutten Massacre, 1782 in Ohio. 96 pacifist Moravian Christian Indians, Lenape and Mohican, were murdered by Pennsylvania militiamen. Yep, horrible situation. Yep. Okay. All right. So here you can see that Ohio is also woke. As I mentioned, less than, well, it's between 12 and 15% of the population is black. But look at this book. It's all black. This is the tour guide. So the cover, Ohio is the heart of it all. Okay. Oh, wait. That's a mixed race company. I just realized that. She's white. There you go. That's so politically correct. A black father, a white mother, and mixed race kids. So we're off to a good start for Ohio. And then here out in the Hocking Hills, I've never seen a black person in my life. Yet all three of those people exercising, doing yoga in the Hocking Hills, Old Man's Cave, are black. Never seen a black person there in my entire life. There's the governor. That's why I got white folks there. And look, more mixed race people there. Yep, that's almost none in the state of Ohio. There's a white lady, the hockey. Things to do in Columbus. The Scioto River runs through Columbus. Yep. The reason I mention this, folks, is this is not reflective of the state. Look at this page. We have a mixed race couple down here. We have Asians up here. I just told you there's 3,000 Asians in the entire state. Mixed race up here. Black couple here. Black folks here. Black folks there. Gay blacks. And a couple whites interspersed here. There's some white folks finally, but all these photos at the top are all black folks. That's the ones on the cover. Mixed race. White girl and a black guy on a kayak or whatever they call that thing. Mixed race couples up here. That's not Ohio. I mean, those people exist, but that's not the state. There's some white kids, out of the world events. There's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame up in Cleveland, which is a little disappointing, to be honest. I wouldn't go to Cleveland just to see that, but if you're there, go to it. Here we have Indians. Where are the white folks at? It's 80% white. Where are the white folks at? 80% white. It's been a problematic start to the academic year for thousands of students across the country. The Eastern Cape is no exception. Yeah, no, the schools weren't ready. Yes, you can apply. What's this? You can apply. Whoa. Mr. Fark's laughing. What are you laughing about, man? Okay, New Jersey, have you ventured? It's your only experience in New Jersey. It's the airport. Oh, yeah, if you've only been to Newark Airport, you're definitely missing out there. Yeah, New Jersey's got some interesting stuff, but it's just those bedroom communities on the opposite side of the Hudson, just, oof, no. Maddie says, good morning. Welcome to you, Maddie. Okay, you can apply for unions through your employer. Don't come here and join unions. We don't need you joining them. Rent is $1,000 for very basic in most states. Richard, that's probably a fair amount to go with. But Ohio has no rugby scene. Oh, that's not true, Blue Collar. No. The Ohio Aviators are the OGs. The Ohio Aviators are one of the early rugby teams, rugby clubs founded around here, and they were part of the pro rugby experience. They nearly won there was no championship, but they nearly won the title. I was at the championship game against the Colorado Raptors. Yeah, I was there in Columbus. I took my nephew there. It was pretty cool. And then they played the Bermuda Teds, the Ohio Aviators. I have their jersey. Okay. Work every year in Minnesota feels like I'm working in Africa. Lots of Somali refugees. Yep. Well, lots of Hmong as well. Depends on where you want to do that. The shipyards in Norfolk are desperate for apprentices. That's true. If refugees is not included, can you elaborate this just below the 5 points of what refugee is? Huh? Are you talking about on my sheet? Is that what you're asking? I don't know what your question is there. What refugee does not include what? Where's that coming from? Something I showed you? Where the hell's that at? Too much crap piling up here. It's the letter. Okay, is this here? Oh, there you go. Oh, okay. Sorry. Boy, you got pretty good eyes there. Or did you go back and freeze the thing? You talking about this down here? Where's that? You talking about this part right here, right down there. Okay. A refugee does not include anyone who ordered, incited, assisted, or otherwise participated in the persecution of any person on account of race, religion, nationality, membership, particular social group, or political opinion. In other words, if you're genocideer or you're a government human rights abuser, you can't become a refugee. Does that answer your question, Willie Smith? What did I miss? Well, Philip, you missed it. We had to restart. We had to come over here. Thank you for your subscription. Yeah, imported Japanese koi. That's interesting. Yeah, thank you for coming over and joining us. Okay, so that's the Ohio sites I want to show. Hang on a second here. That makes so Indeed is making me sign in. I'm not going to go to Indeed. ZipRecruiter, Monster, USA Jobs. Okay. So, all right. Really don't care where in the USA we get placed as long as we can get out of here. Blue collar New Jersey guy says Ohio is extremely boring, almost as boring as upstate New York. Upstate New York is amazing. Yep. My daughter received a job offer from North Carolina. Not sure what it's called. She's finishing up her genetics master's degree. As parents, we are looking at hopefully getting there with this. Well, that won't get you here, Tim. That has nothing to do with it. You have a job offer and you're coming to America, you're not a refugee. That's a whole different process. Ask Arctic about that. He can tell you about that. He's gone through it. No, that has nothing to do with this. That's not applicable. It's not going to help. If your daughter gets here as an immigrant, then she can come here as an immigrant, gets a green card, and you can apply for refugee status. You can apply for refugee status regardless once it's the policies are out. Okay. What else? Could you do an apprenticeship as an electrician or HVAC? Yeah. No, not well. You'll get a green card. You get a permanent residence card. No, but you can go work. You're allowed to work when you get here. You're expected to work. You have to start paying back your transportation costs within 6 months. Well, at 6 months, so you have to have a job. Boyfriend wants the cold, so we'll go where I'll take him. Well, Rainbow Dragon, your boyfriend is not your spouse. So if you apply for refugee status, there's no guarantee that both of you will get it. There's no guarantee that you'll wind up even in the same part of the country. You can ask, but guys, this is not immigration. You're not like, oh, I want to go to Minnesota. It doesn't work like that. You're supposed to be coming here because you're being persecuted. Your life is in peril, or you fear persecution. Your life is in peril. You're a gay man in Damascus, and you're afraid they're going to drop you off a roof. So you ask for refugee status, and it's granted to get you hell out of there before you're killed. That's an example. Or you are a Christian in northern Nigeria, and they're murdering Christians, and so you got to get out. You can ask, you can say you want this, but if you're not married to someone legally, if you don't have children under the age of 18, then you're not applying for anyone else. You can't apply for your adult parents. They got to apply on their own. And you'll guarantee you're going to wind up in the same place. That said, they go out of their way to try to make sure that families aren't split up. They're not going to split up a nuclear family, but I'm talking about the extended family. If they come and they get approved, they try to put you in the same place if possible. Okay. So, Tim, that has no bearing as far as I know. Work every year in Minnesota. Okay, that was already there. Okay. Our New Jersey guys dissing on Ohio. Thank you, Chantel. It's the sun that waits for sleep before setting. Yes, you can apply with unions through your employer. Yeah, screw unions. I hate them. Yes, Pablo, I really be counting the races because it's distorted. Everybody in every commercial on my TV is black. You would think America's Nigeria, not America. America doesn't look like that. And lying about it doesn't make it better or make it more equitable. It's just stupid. It's stupid. It's like the over-representation of homosexuality on television. If you watch TV shows, you think that half the country's gay. Well, maybe it is, and I just missed it. But 85% of the country is definitely not black. Typical political BS spread by the media. Exactly. That's spread by the state of Ohio. They had that book produced. What's this? Darty says, I need a good assistant. Okay, that's where I was at. It's been a problem. Okay, if you have Social Security number, you can live for free on public land 14 days time if you boondock with a RV. Yeah, you're talking about Sweden. I don't think that's a rule here in America. I crack her up. Okay. Unions, sorry, not sorry. Exactly. No thanks. Hey, Neville, how's it going? Highway Aviator is a cool name. Yeah, it was. I got a great rugby jersey, and I got a hat cap. I had to wait like 7 months because when they went to Bermuda 10s, I was trying to go, but then we had the COVID scam. I couldn't travel because I could go to Bermuda round trip for like 300 some bucks on a flight. That was affordable, and I'd never been to Bermuda, so it would have been cool to do for the 10s. But then I couldn't go because they had all these stupid, you had to prove your jab and all this nonsense, and they weren't letting people in. So many people come in. Anyway, the Highway Aviators went down, and they didn't win the whole thing. There were South Africans participating in that Bermuda 10s. Vlok Silliers was there. He actually walked out on the pitch as a 40-some-year-old guy and kicked the winning kick for his team. Had to come in at fly half because their guy was injured. He was the coach. Yeah, it was pretty wild. I ordered a cap, and a jersey before they even did the Bermuda 10s. Thank you, Christian Ludovitz. And it took like 7 months. Their supplier was in China or Bangladesh or somewhere like that. I eventually got it, though. Job offer from the mafia. Went to drop my kid at school this morning, and I saw a lot of Neanderthals. Only 3 sports: baseball, NASCAR, and NFL, says Reg. Okay. Hey, Dan Bailey's in. We have no state income tax here in Wyoming. We do have a state sales tax. Not much snow this year. Shh, Dan, stop telling people about how wonderful Wyoming is. We don't need them there. Dan, we've capped immigration and semi-migration to Wyoming. I'm the last one to come to Wyoming. I'm closing the door when I come. We don't want these people coming to Wyoming. They'll drive up the land prices. They'll be eating the dogs. They'll be eating the cats. The South Africans eat the dogs or eat the cats. What the hell? It's all Dan's fault. Dan Bailey, the cowboy action shooter, invited all these damn people to Wyoming. It used to be so peaceful, quiet, small, isolated, wonderful, natural. Now it's full of all these damn immigrants. Maddie doesn't arrive here totally ignorant. Okay. Ohio State Buckeyes won. Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah. I like the look of Wyoming. Stop it, Charles. Cody and Pal. Look at this. All these people are trying to move to Wyoming. What the hell's going on here? Damn it. The crypto noob. Oh, here you are. Well, my internet dropped off, and then YouTube wouldn't start the second one. I had to start a third one. Johan says South Africans had to become so resilient because of all these stupid laws. I believe most would likely start small business. Scope of agriculture in Ohio. Oh, yeah. Main crops, maize. We call it corn, though, because that's a proper name. Corn, soybeans, dairy farms. Some either vegetable garden sort of stuff like tomatoes and, beans and stuff like that you get up in the northeast part of the state. Yeah, pretty much everything. But, agriculture is everywhere. Everywhere. A friend of mine is a commercial pilot ranting about the working hours, running him in the ground. Also been looking at shifting the U.S. for some time. Well, Arno, it's not going to be better here. Ask Arctic. Our regional airlines, which is where a lot of people start out, unless you work for a private service, flying the hoi polloi around. If you work for one of the regional airlines, it's a subset of American or Delta or something like that. Those guys, they hustle all the time. It's tough life, but you get up, you move up in seniority, you get to the main airlines, and you get the cushy jobs. Rainbow says, planning on getting married before applying. Okay. You were about to explain the visa lottery when we lost you. I did explain it, but apparently you missed it, Heidi. We were disconnected. I was explaining. And I explained it again when we started here. I guess you weren't here. Okay, I'll do it again. The Visa Lottery program, folks, we only got 2/3 of our audience back. It sucks. Anyway, but the Visa Lottery program is a stupid idea that Teddy Kennedy came up with back in the 1960s to get more Irish into the country. The idea was to let up to 50,000 people in per year. I'm not sure the standards. Sometimes they say it's 50,000 per country. But the bottom line is that a lot of people come in this country. And they don't come in this country because they're skilled technicians or artists. They come in because their name is drawn out of a computer or hat. As long as they aren't criminals, yada, 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 they come here. So they come here every year. We get lots of people coming here every year from around the world. That's how we got Kazakhs in here, and we got Georgians in here, and we got Algerians in here, Moroccans, and Nigerians, and Ghanaians, and Liberians, they win the Visa Lottery. And you get here and you have a permanent green card just because you want it, just because America is so generous. But yeah, of course, that's not true. I'm making it all up. We're a systemically racist country that's just, horrible to people of color. Didn't you know this? Didn't you hear this? I'm sure you've heard this about America. We're just so mean and evil. And we're isolationist, even though our president's in Saudi Arabia negotiating the end of a war that Europe has been fueling for 3 years. We're isolationist. We've got a delegation at the G20 despite these idiots from South Africa's political party running the thing. Yeah, we're isolationist, even though our vice president is at the European Security Conference in Munich. We're isolationist. What a bunch of nonsense. So you go, you register. As Arctic was saying, it's open like 1 month a year. You put your name in. If they draw your name, then you get interviewed and you get a green card to get to come to America. Woo! Good for you. That's how that works. Yeah. Depends on where you live. Jackson, Star Valley, expensive. Yeah. Star Valley is where my house was going to be. I went to Star Valley in 1994 to buy a plot. Quaking aspen on the lot. The mountains to the east. And then the valley sloped down to the west, and then mountains to the west, and the Star Valley. You got Afton right there. They had a Pizza Hut. It's about the only thing they had. And then you go north, and you go to Jackson Hole, which was really expensive. I was going to buy at the right time. That was the time I went there to buy that plot, and I didn't buy it because of the home association fees. I had to build, and I'm in the military. And as it turned out, that was 1994, and I didn't leave the military until 2015. So that would have been, 15 and 6, 21 years later, and I would have paid home association fees of over $1,000 a year every year, and it went up, and I would have been pressured to either sell my lot or build on it. And so, yeah, I never bought, but no regrets, but I would be living in the Star Valley right now, outside of Afton, with quaking aspen all over my lot. Yeah, that's where I would be right now. Dan knows the place. Sheridan and Buffalo are nice. Yeah, Cody's expensive. Yes, exactly. Well said, Dan. Quit telling these people that. Yeah, the diversity visa program, green lottery. Yeah, well, Trump, hopefully Trump will suspend that program. We don't need the diversity. We need good people. Who cares what they are, just as long as they're good people. Don't know if somebody has asked this, but would it be possible to start your own business? Yes, people have asked that. You can start businesses. Watch out for the high winds. Yeah, there's high winds. Okay. Regional Southern Sun, Umhlanga Sands, and Cabana Beach. Okay. Okay. My chat just went way crazy here. Yeah, the green card lottery is a hell of a lot of paperwork. Yep. But for people who get it and you're in Ghana or your library, you're desperate to get out, it's a godsend. Applied for the DVP program, cost me a fortune. Nothing came, but guess my number was not pulled. That was 15 years ago. See, there you go. Tried diversity visa, but with no luck. Same time I applied, a rich guy applied and got it. He stayed. It saved him on going the investment route. Yeah, the investment route, you got a lot of money. It's not like Trinidad and Tobago where you don't need that much money to get citizenship. Trump was right. Yeah, of course Trump was right. San Luis Valley wind is crappy. Okay. If you're retired military, you can stay in state park campgrounds for free. Darty, that's not every state. Every state has their own rules. Every state. If you are retired military, you can get a permanent national park pass. They only approved that recently. So I can get a permanent one, which is good forever, and I don't have to pay for a park pass. You can get all the U.S. national parks, which can be expensive to get into at times. It is not a lottery. It is called the lottery program, Marty. Don't say it's not our user qualifications, like 55,000 people per year. Yep. The high aviator story is pretty cool. If you're resettled initially in a particular state, would you then be able to relocate? Yes. Well, then they're not going to split you off from a nuclear family. That's not normal. Would you know if there is... Jax, you should be able to move as soon as you get here if you want. I mean, you're not confined to a place. But if you move away, you're not going to have the services, and they're not going to help you. If you're living in a place where you're getting all these services, and you pick up and move to another state, and there's no sponsor there, there's no program there, it's not a place where people go, then you're just screwed. You're not going to get anything help. You're going to have to do it all on your own. Reason why I haven't left Wyoming, I'm not a fan of large concentration of people. Got you, Dan. I have no need for Colorado. Same here, Dan. Colorado is gone. It's been gone for 25 years. Dan says, Chris, I agree. Wyoming is full. I hear Nebraska is nice. Well said, Dan. Well said. Yeah, that Nebraska, man. You might want to check. Colorado. You guys will love Colorado. It's full of Wokies. They got pot shops everywhere. Yeah. They got air pollution. In Denver, you can't see the sky. It's like, paintbrush has been painting the sky. Yeah. Go there. You'll love it. John Graves, if you're on BLM land, you can camp for 14 days and pack up and move a mile away. Yeah, Bureau of Land Management land. Do you have a map of that? Yeah, that's federal land. That's not state land. Somebody said state parks. Some states allow it, but not you. I don't know there are 50 states. Yeah, I didn't invite anyone. You're allowed. The others need to be. Thank you, Dan. I'm an honorary Wyoming. What I didn't know, I learned after I came to Pennsylvania, is actually there's a Wyoming County, Pennsylvania, and the state of Wyoming is actually named after, I thought it was a name from the Sioux or something like that, but no, it's named after here. Yeah, Wyoming's great cowboy lifestyle. Okay, they're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs and the cats, says someone that's never seen my dog. I hear you, bud, but it was fun. It's too crowded with Spanish now. Okay. The longest running rodeo in the USA is in New Jersey. What? Didn't know that. Yeah, it is cold, John. That's how we keep people out of there. Oh, yeah. Who's giving the personal info? I didn't see that. Thank you, Art. Good advisory there. Look, folks, if people ask you for money, stop. Cease and desist right there. Do not do it. Okay? Do not do it. If people are asking for personal information, do not give it away. Do not give your personal information unless it's a .gov website from the U.S. government. Do not do it. Yeah, Colorado's got much worse. I know what you mean. Limited contact. Okay. As per the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Act of 2003, the amended act, black people is a generic term which means Africans, coloreds, Indians, white people equals African. What? Is that minus white people? Francois van Heerden, I want to go to where there are no tornadoes, hurricanes, or earthquakes. Well, then don't go to California. Earthquakes happen all over the world, but except in earthquake-prone zones, they're pretty mild. The most earthquake-prone country, to my knowledge, is actually Missouri, the central part of the United States. They have more earthquakes than anywhere. They're just real tiny ones. Tornadoes can happen anywhere. We don't get tornadoes here as a matter of course, but you don't want to live in the Midwest, Kansas, Nebraska, you get a lot of tornadoes there. And what was the other thing you didn't like? Earthquakes, hurricanes. Well, if you live along the coast, the Gulf Coast, the eastern seaboard, you can get a hurricane. But usually the hurricanes are pretty much done and dusted by the time they get past the Carolinas. Well, sometimes they're pretty heavy. Hurricane Agnes came all the way up to Maryland and Pennsylvania back in 1970 and just devastated. I'm talking about a family of four, simple SUV, a sedan, simple house for my family. It doesn't matter where. Okay, well, let me help you out that morning. If you're talking about buying those things, a simple SUV, $50,000. You get a cheap Korean one, $35,000. $35,000. A simple house, no matter where you buy it, that's $250,000 or more, usually $300,000 more for a simple house. So you're already out $300,000 or $400,000 before you even get breakfast. It's going to be the first lottery ticket I buy. Hope and pray will at least be in the U.S. Thanksgiving. I would make no preparations or plan on anything. 61 fit and healthy. How will working life be for me once I get refugee status? Well, Maeve, I mean, doing what? If you're a fry cook in a restaurant, it's going to be tough on your legs standing. If you're a waitress, if you're a coder, you're going to be sitting somewhere. If you work in a factory, I mean, how will work life? What do you mean? Every job is different. Every place is different. You know, there are some similarities. The work week, the normal work week for people on, getting a paycheck is 40 hours. And normally you get double time or time and a half for overtime, and usually get double time or triple time for weekends and holidays. Usually double time weekends and triple time on holidays. But that's not a hard and fast rule. The minimum wage in California is higher than it is in Pennsylvania. The national minimum wage is set everywhere. Everything is different, Do not take America's kindness for weakness. Well, that's what the world has been doing, and Trump is telling them no. Decided to buy the old Elk Ranch for $49 million. Well, that's cool, Neville. Thank you for sharing that. USA is so bad, I regularly hear politicians say they want to cut the throat of insert whatever race you like. Yep. Ukraine is the victim. Okay, Gideon, if you say so. Why are you telling me that? What's that got to do with the price of tea in China? Shawnee grows. Hey, Shawnee. Are you going to see Neil DeBeer next week? I don't know if he's going to be here next week. He's still got to get his visa, as far as I know. If he's here next week, I will see him next week. If he comes the following week, it will be impossible. I'm working to War College. So, unless he comes a week after that. Would learning Spanish be useful for living in the USA? No. Do not come here and speak that language. We don't need that. No, thank you. Nope. This is an English-speaking country. People can speak whatever language they want. It's a second language, but the first language is an English-speaking country, and you're not going to colonize this country with Spanish. Full stop. We're putting an end to that nonsense. If you live in Miami, Spanish is helpful. If you live in Brooklyn, Spanish is helpful. If you live in LA, Spanish is helpful. If you live in San Antonio, Spanish is helpful. Yep, absolutely. But speaking Spanish here, Excuse me, speaking Spanish here? No, I don't know people speak Spanish here. Although today I ran into a guy, nice guy at the bank from Puerto Rico, and he speaks Spanish, of course. But I don't speak Spanish, and I'm not going to learn it because of the abuse that Spanish people have heaped in the past. And also the effort to undermine the unity of my nation by forcing it down our throats. Yeah, you'll probably need a passport, Anik, but I have no idea what the requirement will be. We've covered this hundreds of times. Please watch my 14 frequently asked questions. Okay. Okay, you seem to have the same internet supplier as me. Nah, it was just that one time. Trust a man's world if he's from Wyoming. Yeah, it's a man's world, baby. Okay. True that. About Missouri, there's something like one every 14 hours. Yeah, it's really weird, Nick. Most people don't know that Missouri gets tons of earthquakes, but they're usually like 3.6, 4.2, occasional 5, something like that. Like Botswana and the High Veld have had a lot of earthquakes the past few years. So. Okay. I respect you like crazy. Now, please talk about how Trump is wrong about Ukraine. No, Gideon, because I talked about it earlier. You want attention? I talked about Ukraine. So, go back and watch the other stream. You don't get to walk in here 3 hours after I start my broadcast and demand attention. I answered that question. I talked about it. I did news at the beginning of the other broadcast. I talked about it. So... Can refugees participate in lottery? What do you mean? You mean lotteries here in the States, like buying tickets and winning? Yeah, of course. Anybody here can buy a ticket. You can't redeem it overseas, but you can redeem it here. Although some states, I think, might have a rule about citizenship. I don't know. But foreigners buy lottery tickets here. I don't know the rules. Each state is different. Lotteries are run by states, not by the federal government, thank God. AJ Quinn, hello to you. All our Neanderthals are hanging out here. Jaden Brown, I will be starting many businesses. Well, and 95% of every business that starts fails within the first 5 years. 95% of every business fails. That's a consistent everywhere in the world. And if you've had experiences different than that, you've been very fortunate what you do. But most businesses fail within the first 5 years, first 3 years actually. What's the average price of bananas, and Coke in the States? I thought you said bananas. I'm fighting to get South Africa while others are fighting to get out. I feel like I'm living in a bizarre world, says Darty. Blue collar renaissance. You have Puerto Rican. Okay, there you go. Is the camera lighting, you look a bit red-faced? No, I'm pink, Dolph. I'm always pink. Yeah, no, the camera lighting's fine. I'm pink. I'm not white. That's why I think this is racist calling me white. I'm pink. Pink people's lives matter. Yep. No, I have rosacea as a consequence of the mask wearing bullshit that was exacerbated by that, so my face gets red. I don't like taking medication. I take antibiotics and it keeps it under control, but I don't really lose sleep over it. You wear that, the boer moves in, you'll be speaking Afrikaans. Not going to happen. You'll be speaking English. Your kids won't speak Afrikaans. Ronaldo told you to pin your 14 questions video in comment section. Just do it, man. So many people here. Okay, well, I don't do what Ronaldo tells me to do. That's a exercise fraught with chaos, but okay. Remember, we restarted too, so. All right, content. 14 videos. It's working its way down. It's been a while since I did it. That's on the 11th of February now. Wow, 10 days. Okay, so let me get this link. The problem is, as soon as I pin it, then people are like, well, I want to get in a Telegram group. I want to get in this group. I want to do that. I want to do that. And I start doing that. You can only pin one thing at a time. So there it is. If a question's not answered there, then you can come back and ask it. And I've also did a subsequent after that, but I can't pin more than one video, so that's the problem. Pin message. All right. Gideon, I will answer your question now. I was just giving you a hard time because you were acting like an ass yesterday when I played my music video. So Gideon Schaumburg, President Trump said that Zelensky is responsible. It's his fault that there's a war. Or he said he started the war. That's factually incorrect. Ukraine did not start the war. However, the Ukrainian oppression of Russians in the Donbass was real. That doesn't justify a war. The accurate statement would have been that the intransigence and the asshattery of Volodymyr Zelensky, the grifter, is what precipitated the war because Putin had demands and he wouldn't even talk to him. So now the caveat to that, the follow-on that goes with that, is that Ukraine was a sovereign state and they have no obligation to kowtow to Moscow or to listen to what Putin wants. But when you have a massive, powerful neighbor on your flank and you ignore them, you do so at your own peril. Belarus was never invaded. It's because they're a client state of Putin, and that's what he wanted Ukraine to be. Now, I'm not saying Ukraine should have been a client state, but Ukraine certainly could have made an effort to talk to and work with Russia to prevent the war from happening. In fact, Zelensky was an ass and went the other direction, and he was emboldened to do it. And the reason that Ukraine was invaded is because of Joe Biden's ineptitude, his cowardly foreign policy. If Trump had been president, Putin never would have invaded. Never would have happened. And people that say that's a counterfactual, it's not a counterfactual. The truth of the matter is that George Bush was president. Russia invaded Georgia. They invaded Azerbaijan, Nagorno-Karabakh. They were involved in all these conflicts. And when Obama was president, they tried to destroy the banking system of Estonia, undermine their currency by using cyber warfare. They invaded and occupied, annexed the Crimea, and Obama said, line in the sand. There's no line in the sand. He's an ass. And then they occupied the Donbass. Donald Trump was president. For the first time that Putin is around, he never invaded or undermined his neighbors in a significant way. He behaved himself and stayed in a box. Trump leaves office. 6 weeks after he's office, Putin moves 60,000 troops, 70,000 troops to the border of Belarus and Ukraine, inside Belarus, and Russia and Ukraine, in a clear indication that he was not happy with Zelensky not talking to him. So that went on for several months, and Biden's ineptitude, he said nothing about the military putsch and overthrow of the democratically elected government in Myanmar, which took place days after he was president, on February 1st, 9 days after he was president. So he said nothing, or 10 days after he became president. And then other ineptitude. Then August, this stupid botched Afghanistan thing. And then Putin said, you know what? Now's the time. There'll never be a dumber SOB in the White House than this moron. And so I need to invade. I'm going to take it now. And he thought he could take it. But his battle plan was flawed and stupid and ill-prepared. And, you know, he believed the propaganda that his own generals told him. And you notice none of those generals are around for the most part anymore. So I've answered your question, Gideon. Trump never should have said that Ukraine started the war. The correct statement would be Ukraine's presence and transience in negotiating and talking to Russia over its genuine concerns is what precipitated the war. That's a statement of fact. Okay, Jaden, it's there. Can you talk a bit about Diego Garcia sale to Madagascar? I know nothing about Diego being sold to Madagascar. I know about the Chagos Islands, which includes Diego Garcia being turned over to Mauritius. Was it Mauritius? I think it's Mauritius. Maybe it's not Mauritius. But Diego Garcia is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's the U.S. It's a lease on it. The Brits own it. They're not giving it up. Okay. The Boer who come over yearly for H2 have one small bag and 3 bottles of duty-free brand wine, and they all talk about on a flight how to make 3 bottles last 7 months. Exactly. That's right. You're spot on there, Arctic. Okay. Putin disputes all Ukrainian land. Well, he can dispute all he wants, but Russia recognized Ukraine's independence and guaranteed it back in the 90s, so he has to live with that. Business failure is a natural course. I failed 5 business attempts before I achieved success until this government forced me. So there you go, Devil. Exactly right. Business failure, it's normal. That's why when they come, Donald Trump has filed for bankruptcy 5 times. Donald Trump has never filed for bankruptcy. Not personal bankruptcy. His business has filed for bankruptcy. That's, every successful businessman has failures. Is California a good place to stay? Well, Stefan, I can't answer that question. I lived in California. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't want to live there now. It's a communist state. Oppressive taxation, oppressive social media nonsense. It's a country full of a state full of nonsense. But it's a beautiful state. It's a huge state. Too many damn people for me. Massive agricultural business concept I want to start. Okay. You seem lonely. Join a dating. My goodness. California is absolutely stunning, but they have political issues and it's expensive. If you are IT, you'll need $300,000 a year to live like a king in California. Yep. Reg Dodd say, yes, Colonel is pinkish. Yes, weak in South Africa will be red-faced, then well-tanned. War is a money-make machine. I'm sure your husband isn't. What? Been watching since December and love your analysis and wit. Thank you, Carlene Viola. It is Viola, right? Thank you so much. This tag is driving me nuts on this shirt. Zelensky is a comedian, not a president. Exactly. Actually, Russia agreed back when Ukraine became a sovereign state that they would never join the EU, UN, and NATO. Yeah, exactly, Tim Martens. You're correct. You're correct. That was the deal. They were never supposed to join, and they tried to renege on it, and that's a legitimate concern. I'm right. Putin's not right, but he's got legitimate issues. Did you see the final experiment trip to Antarctica? Some guy took some flat earthers to Antarctica to prove that flat earth models are nonsense. Turns out the earth isn't flat. No, I didn't see that. Any of these pop up? Well, let's take a look because we've been doing this for a while here. So I did my Neanderthal DNA. Get rid of that. I've looked at the White House. There's no White House, if that's the news you're asking for. And the White House news site had the press briefing by Carolyn Leavitt. President Trump just getting started, commencing the reduction of federal bureaucracy. Trump raids in government overreach, ensuring lawful governance. President Trump reduces bureaucracy, 80th anniversary battery regime. That's yesterday. So there's nothing really to report on Thursday from the White House or from the U.S. Embassy. Just nothing there. I'll go look at the News 24 site because it is morning in South Africa really quickly here. And Ramaphosa, that's the same news. There's nothing new here from what I talked about at the beginning of the other program. Yep, it's all the same. Anyway, how are voting weights determined in America? To me, it seems there are only a handful of Democratic states determined administration. What do you mean voting weights? I don't understand, Jane Brown. This is not like 1948 where the National Party could take over the country because rural votes count more than urban votes. No, every vote counts as one vote. And in elections, it's first past the post. You can get 32% and win an election if everyone else has less than 32%. You can win a vote by a single vote. I mean, I've seen elections with 500,000 votes and a person win by 7 votes in a congressional race. That's, I'm not really sure what your question is. The exception is the presidential race, which is based on the Electoral College. Census what? Oh, does he mean congressional districts? Maybe that's what he means. Thank you, Gideon. Maybe you mean, well, congressional districts are made up on population based on census. Unfortunately, the census is illegitimate because our census includes non-citizens and illegal aliens, and they also fudge the numbers by balancing them out. So the criminal activity of the federal government and misrepresenting our population is shameful. The census is illegitimate, and it's not way off the mark, but it's not correct, and people are not represented in many cases. But typically, a congressional district has about 674,000 people in it, and we have 435 members of the House of Representatives. So the House of Representatives, that's there. But the states the same way. The legislature is different sizes. Some states have 20 or 30 senators. Some states have more. It just depends on how they break down the states. No, the census is not for the Electoral College. That is not correct. The census is for congressional representation in the House of Representatives. The Electoral College is based on the number of voters in Electoral College is based on 1 for each representative, 1 for each senator. So we have 535. We have 100 senators, so that's 100 votes, 2 for each state. We have 435 members of the House of Representatives, that's 435. So where do you get the 438 or 538? Excuse me, it's 535. 3 for the District of Columbia, which illegitimately was allowed to have 3 votes. They're not even a state. It's bullshit. So there's 538. If nothing else, this offer from President Trump has opened my eyes to other opportunities globally. Well, it's opened the world who's willing to look their eyes to see what's going on in South Africa. That's what it's done, if nothing else. Yep. Anyway, all right. Not South African born. My dad is South African, though, so he is definitely going to try. Well, are you living in South Africa, and are you a class that's affected by this? It doesn't matter where you were born. If you're in South Africa and you're this class of people, unless you're telling me you don't have citizenship in South Africa, it might be a problem. The census does determine how many electoral votes each state gets. I just said that. And it's not conducted every few years. It's conducted every decade, once a decade. The first one starting in 1790. The Constitution was ratified in 1789. The first census took place. It was drafted in 1787, ratified in 1789. The first census took place in 1790. 3.1 million people in America in 1790. Today, 100 times that. And then some. Okay, cool beans. All right, let me see what we got going on over here. So, yeah, the number of subscribers is really tailing off. Let me take a look at that. Analytics. So it makes me wonder if we're going to get to 50,000. I don't think we're going to get there. 49,960 yesterday. And in a little bit, it'll be the end of the day today. So 960. So not even 700 for today. So it's dropped. But it's still an upward trajectory. I mean, it still keeps going up. Pretty exciting. But, I mean, I'd love to see 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 per day every day would be cool. Anyway, but the advertising revenue is certainly looking nice. It dropped yesterday, but still, yesterday's better than half a month the way it used to be. I'd make no money on this channel for a long time. I'm not making real money now, but making a little bit from the ads. That's cool. So appreciate you all watching that stuff. Anyway, yeah, so we're down to the 21st of the month. Looking good. Okay. Started my career as a yoga instructor because there were no jobs. I at least get some income. Okay. All right, Em. That's cool. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You have to be an entrepreneur in South Africa because you're denied access to the formal workplace, and then they try to take your business anyway. The non-Neanderthals left. No, my subscriptions haven't dropped. No. I'm talking about the number of people gaining every day. People aren't watching. I'm not going to pay my TV license. I'm tired of paying people who hate me. I hear you. Good morning, Jacques Nolte. How you doing? Just keep my dollars in your TV stand. No spending my money on Shakespeare. Cool thing is that America is so big that we won't have to see each other unless we want to. That says Hugo Brainbug. Some of my Neanderthal friends asked me this morning if the Colonel could be introduced to their moms. Bored tunnies. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You guys are killing me. I went from not going to considering it seriously. Two options: make a good future elsewhere, or stay and fight for change that will not come in our lifetime, or maybe ever. Okay. Sky says they were upset with Ruvani's excessive leave taking. Heidi Roberts say, I do not watch paid TV, so thinking of the same thing. No DSTV, no Netflix. That's the big thing about the USA. If you don't like it where you live, get a U-Haul and move. Exactly. I mean, it's Americans move a lot more than Europeans. Europeans are just their roots are they're stuck where they're at. Government does not understand. They're denying whites management positions due to BE, so we're forced to create them, and then they are confused as to why we own so much. Exactly. Yeah, well, you don't pay for a TV license here, but you do pay lots of taxes on your cable if you have cable. But if you have over-the-air, television, broadcast TV, you just put, the digital antenna out there. It's free. You don't pay anything for it. Yep. Coming to the meet and greet, hook up with Chris for a green card, ladies. You can have ESPN. It's woke. It belongs to Disney. They ruined it. They ruined ABC. They ruined ESPN. They ruined so many things. And Disney owns all that crap now. All right, guys, we've been at this on this one for an hour, plus we were on the other one for a while, so I didn't plan on going this long tonight, but we're going to wrap it up here. Sent me a trace alert. They charged me for a TV license for 10 years. I didn't even have a TV. I tried to sort it, but they weren't interested. I believe it. Just wondering what all the naysayers are thinking now with the new land bill being worked. Yeah, exactly. Well, no, they're going to explain away. It's not really, no, it's not like that. But, we have to do it because it's unfair. All these people born after 1994 deserve to have your land because of your skin color. And it's just unfair because, they're the majority and have all the power. So we're just going to take it. Yep. Isn't that a truth? Left my manager position at a bank because of AA and BE. Started a business and BE divorce destroyed that. Now finding work in the formal sector is difficult. Yep. I need rain. What's this? Catch. All right, guys, I gotta do some work here and wrap up. I'm gonna do a quick video and cautioning people not to freaking sell everything and calm down. Okay. This is messed up. What's messed up? Okay. Hey, Copy. I didn't know you're still here. Is internet express expensive over there? It depends where you get and what you get. I need high speed. I need massive download, and I need unlimited. And so, for that, if I only had internet from my provider, it's about $150 or $125, $150 a month, which is expensive, but not that bad. But my package, because of all the taxes and fees and my cable TV and my telephone around, that cost me $302 a month. So it's 6,000 Rand a month I pay for internet and telephone and cable. That's a lot. Yeah. But I mean, I used to have internet service providers when it was dial-up, and I was paying $9.99 a month for it. So, all right, guys, take care. Thanks for being here. Be safe. And I'll be putting a video out here shortly. I'm just going to do one off the cuff and record it because I'm concerned about what some people are saying and doing. Cheers.